What if you can't find an entry-level digital accessibility job?
Yeah, digital accessibility is a really weird field because nobody goes to university and gets a degree in digital accessibility. As far as I'm aware, that's not an option anywhere. And the only time that you would really get any kind of training in it formally is if you purposefully seek that out. It's going to be maybe a certificate or just a course that you take and you don't get any kind of certification. So it's not like you're going to go to college and major in digital accessibility and then go get your digital accessibility internship and kind of work into the field. That's just not the way that it works. I actually put a question on LinkedIn this week to ask people, like, what is your accessibility origin story? Because we didn't all come into the field that way. And to figure out, like, how did you even find out, number one, that this field existed? And then number two, like, how did you figure out you wanted to be involved? And the answers were all over the place. Sometimes people had become disabled themselves, and that made them very interested in the field. Sometimes it was a close friend or family member, or just an experience that they had in a school or at summer camp or something like that, where somebody near them was disabled and needed some help or needed assistance being able to communicate or access resources or things like that. And it's kind of one of those things that you just fall into. And so it's really hard to say, well, how do you go? How do you go and get started? Because when you talk to the people who are in digital accessibility, their stories are all different. There's not one path. There's no front door, basically. There's no front door that's like, enter here. This is how you get in. There's just a whole bunch of side doors. And how are you going to figure out your way in? Maybe you're a developer. And so that's a good way. You can figure out, how do I start building things to be accessible? And how do I start advocating to my teammates and being the one on the team who's saying, oh, hold on, we need to make this accessible, and communicating to my management, etc., that, like, this is something I'm interested in. And which is generally how I got into the field, right? As I was a developer, I was building websites, and then I learned that I needed to make them accessible. And then I just carried that experience with me through my career, where I spent most of my career so far as a web developer, right? Building things and trying to make them accessible, and then trying to communicate to my coworkers and colleagues and managers that this is something that was important and we need to be doing it.